Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be continuing my series of Ninjago crystallized episode reviews by taking a look at episode 14 entitled The Spider's Design. We finally have the entire episode in English and I just got done watching it, so I want to spend today's video giving my thoughts on this very episode. My goal for today's video is to dive on into the positives and the negatives of this episode, and finally towards the very end of the review, I will give the episode a score out of 10. Also, this episode review will indeed contain spoilers for this very episode. You have been warned. So like I said, The Spider's Design is the 14th episode of the entire Ninjago crystallized series, and it explores more of the relationship between Lloyd and Harumi. Harumi spends the episode explaining what she desires from Lloyd, what exactly her goals are regarding the ninja. Meanwhile, the ninja are exploring the abandoned subway tunnel trying to find Lloyd, and Harumi's trap springs forward, with Harumi using many of the crystal spiders as bombs. After she uses them to detonate the entire tunnel, the ninja take shelter in an abandoned subway car, and Lloyd just assumes that they are dead, which of course activates his new Oni powers for the first time. So in terms of my thoughts on this episode, for the good, I really enjoyed the exposition here. There's lots of explaining that Harumi needs to do in this episode, and she totally does that. But she explains a little bit more of her motivations this season, what exactly she's up to, including her master plan, which basically involves killing everybody that Lloyd cares about. Also in terms of good, there's a really cool fight scene towards the very end of this episode once Lloyd finally breaks free of the Venstone cage, running on pure adrenaline and Oni energy alone. He battles Harumi, and it almost seems like he's gonna overpower her and actually do some real harm before he's ultimately shut down by Mr. F, but I just loved seeing how Lloyd reacts to Oni power. This is the very first time that we're seeing Lloyd actually activate this Oni power in such a way. It throws you off seeing him express those emotions. But that's not a bad thing. I think Oni power is an interesting power for Lloyd to explore, and I'm very curious to see how he handles the rest of this power as the season continues. Also, the episode is very suspenseful. You do feel some suspense down in the tunnels with the ninja, and after all of the spiders blow up, you do feel some level of danger there. I loved how the tunnel sequence was played out, and again, Harumi just taunting Lloyd the entire time. I just love their dynamic, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else comes from this relationship as the season continues. In terms of the bad, yeah, a couple of not so great things this episode. This episode was not perfect, or at least not as perfect as other crystallized episodes. Some people could argue that the episode was pretty boring, and I agree the episode did have a pretty slow start. The opening is not the strongest thing ever. Hound Dog McBrog basically impounds the Destiny's Bounty, and they have a really awkward scene with him and Master Wu that I think just goes on for way too long. I wasn't a huge fan of that opening sequence. I will say in terms of exposition, I could see this episode being boring in that sense to some people as well. I didn't mind the exposition per se. I just feel like maybe some sequences, again, could have been cut for time, could have been paced a little bit better. The episode itself has many slow moments that actually do halt the episode in some way, but the episode isn't bad by any means because it explores a lot of really cool things regarding certain characters and certain events in Ninjago's lore. All I'm saying is that maybe the pacing could have been a little bit better. Overall, the episode itself is totally fine. In terms of a score, I'm thinking maybe this episode deserves an 8 out of 10. I think that's a fair score to give it. Again, not a perfect episode, but still pretty good, all things considered. Definitely not the weakest of crystallized, not by any means. So with that being said, guys, that'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today on Ninjago crystallized episode 14, The Spider's Design. Leave a comment down below discussing what you thought of the episode, and hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing my thoughts. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I'll talk to you guys again later. Peace.